Okay. And let's see. Okay, so it looks like we are live. Very good. I'm just checking whether we are really live and you can hear me. All should be well. Good. So guys, welcome, 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 all of you who are joining us. For you guys who are joining, let us know where you're joining us from. And I very briefly introduce myself. My name is Lucia Hoxa. I'm a fertility lifestyle coach, and I work with mind, helping women all over the world to have their dream baby. And I'm very, very excited today because I would like to introduce my very good friend, phenomenal, extraordinary woman. Her name is Bindu Bodanapu. Is that right, yes. Bindu?
Absolutely.
I should have practiced this at least a week before.
No worries.
But Bindu, what is important is that Bindu is a phenomenal lady. She is transformational life coach, similar to me. She's a teen and parent coach. She's also inner child therapist, family constellation therapist, and a healer. This lady is helping hundreds of women all over the world in very similar areas to me. We are kind of buddies in this. I'm so happy she's joining us for this talk today, because today we are going to be talking about healing your inner child on your journey towards motherhood. And why is it important? What is it in a child? We are here to give you access to something that I believe is extraordinarily powerful. And yeah, I'm going to pause here because I want to say hello, and I want to give Bindu some time to welcome you all also. So Bindu, your turn. Come in.
Thank you, Lucia. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session, and thank you, Lucia, for having me here today. I'm truly excited and delighted to be part of this session. So thank you for the lovely intro. So as Lucia mentioned, my name is Bindu Bodanapu from London. I'm a transformation life coach, inner child therapist, and a healer. So today's session is going to be truly amazing because inner child therapy healing is one of the most important modalities, which is very close to my heart. So I'm really excited to be here today, and I really would love to give some value to everyone who is listening this, because this is something connected to each and every one of us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for finding your precious time and giving it to us. And guys, I want to encourage you, when I'm looking sideways, I'm looking on a Facebook stream to check whether you have any questions. Please ask us anything. Use this time to ask us any questions, anything that you want to comment or share your experience. We would absolutely love to see here in the comments. Bindu, I will be checking it on the live stream, and in case we have any comments, I will be feeding it to you. So I'm sure Bindu is amazing. Like she's here similar to me to contribute to all of you. And yes, let's have a fun, because transformation is present to many people's lives, especially these days where the world is changing. There's so much dynamics going on, right? And some people don't know about it. And I guess the more conscious we are about it, the more it has opportunity to give us a power so we can create the lives we love. and the babies we desire, because this Facebook stream is predominantly focusing on ladies on their journey towards motherhood. So please feel free to ask any questions. And even if you know about anyone who is on the journey towards motherhood, please let them know, share this post, share this streaming. You have no idea how much you can contribute to someone. Even if there is one thing they hear in today's streaming for themselves, something that is going to inspire them or move them, that would be phenomenal for them, because they can bounce off it. Like, and it can be maybe springboard that is going to be the beginning of their success. So let's be generous with this. And for those of you who are already live with us, thank you so much for your precious time. We are really hoping we are going to give you a lot of value today.
Wonderful.
So let's start slowly, and maybe the easiest way, right, to start, Bindu, is perhaps let's talk about what is the inner child, what it actually means in child.
Wonderful. That's a beautiful question. Let's start understand what is an inner child. So inner child is a part of ourselves that's been present right from the time we are in our mother's womb. So we grew, the inner child grew as we grew from the baby, infant, toddler, young child, and up till the middle school year child. So there is child within each and every one of us. This is the loving, joyful, intelligent, and the innocent child. When we are born, these are the traits that we are born with, or these are the superpowers we have been born with. However, as we grew up, because of the parental control, or there is social pressures, environmental conditioning, we got adulterated. We lost these beautiful traits. So this is all about the inner child. So we, in this process, we are actually connecting to our God-like self. So this is what the inner child is.
Is that why when the babies are born, like we love babies, right? There is this, I remember when my children being born, but it's every child, right? They've got this something in their eyes, this emptiness, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Like it's this there is so pure. It's something so pure. It's very innocent. It's maybe what you're talking about there, like God's like, it's and it takes some few years. They say around the third year there is a point where they get first experience where something is wrong, something happens, and in their little head they decide like something is wrong.
Absolutely.
And it can be something significant, and it can be something that is actually really silly, like the toy is being taken away or something.
Yeah.
And they make it mean something, and that often carries on with them throughout the life without even realizing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when we are in a mother's womb, based on the thoughts the mother is thinking, the baby, there is a chemistry that happens in the mother's brain, and this passes on to the child, and there's a block that is formed. So the baby within the mother's womb is so, it's in that darkness, and he or she feels very protected. But once the baby comes out of the mother's womb and exposed to this big lights in the hospital, the baby feels a sense of abandonment, because he or she's been separated from the mother through the umbilical cord. So there is a fear that, I've been separated from my mother. There's a block formed. And as the child or the baby grow, and infant stage, toddlers, to every stage of life, there is a challenge that the little infant faces. And this is when the block is formed. For example, if you go to the child, probably the nursery, when the child has been left at the nursery, there is a separation anxiety for the child. If you see the child cries and cries for weeks and months until they kind of get to settle in the norm, but then there is a lot of emotional baggage block that is formed within the child because they're not connected to the mother. And then once they start going to, for example, once they start exploring, they're walking and they're touching everything and they break something very valuable, the child doesn't know that's valuable, and they break it because they want to explore it. And then when they drop something so valuable, they get told off by the parents, and there is a block is formed for the child thinking, oh, I'm not supposed to touch everything or explore something new. This is when there is a sense of fear or a shock that is actually formed, and there is a block that happens inside the body. So all these guilt, shame, and most importantly, the school age is when a lot of times the children face a lot of guilt and shame. They've been bullied by their friends or by the teachers, where they've been criticized. They said, oh, you're no good at studies. All these, sits within the subconscious mind, and all this guilt, shame, traumas. And sometimes children go through childhood abuse and traumas, and there is deep wounded. They are called the wounded child. The inner child is deeply, deeply wounded. But at that point in time, because the child does not know how to raise the voice or can't protect, or because they're not really strong enough to protect themselves, they are trying to sweep it under the carpet. But then we need to understand the subconscious mind. That is where the universal mind is. Everything's sits within the subconscious mind. And whenever in the going on, as they grew up, and then whenever they get triggers, the brain is a record of the past, and it brings back the memories that's happened within that childhood. And that is why we lose trust. We don't trust people very much because of what's happened in the past. And we are very fearful. We can't speak in public. Many people have the anxiety when they start to speak in public. Why does this happen? When we are born with the superpowers, because we've been adulterated, all these beautiful traits has been lost because of the conditioning that we have been brought up with.
It's amazing. It's a very complex, and we can talk about it for a long time. Now, I want to ask you a question a little bit related to my women,
yes,
who are on their journey towards motherhood. So specifically, like, how our wounds from of our inner child can be possibly impacting us either getting pregnant or carrying baby all the way through to successful birth of a healthy little baby. Like, how, what do you see, what would you say, what's your experience as well from this?
That's a wonderful question. So basically, from the time we are born, so there is when mostly in the Eastern countries, we see that when there is a lot of rejection for a girl child. When a girl child has been born, there is a rejection. And the parents wanted a boy child more than a girl child. When the girl child was born and the parents do not welcome that girl child, the child loses, has a sense of rejection. She thinks, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy to be a woman, because the parents wanted a boy child. So what happens? There's a block that is formed, and this is that emotional block which is actually connected for the women being pregnant, because they think they have basically rejected the femininity purely because the parents wanted a boy, whereas she's a girl. And this is when subconsciously the women have lost or rejected their femininity. This is why we see that many women who are trying to get pregnant struggle a little bit because of this block they're carrying. And inner child work is a deep work, and it goes within your subconscious mind, healing all the traumas, emotional baggages, subconscious mind programming that you've been carrying.
Yeah, so but it can be, sorry, Bindu, I'm just like jumping in because I want my women to know it's not only the case of if you're being rejected as a, we wanted a boy, we have a girl, is a disappointment kind of thing. It can be variations,
absolutely,
of criticism, of that feeling of not being important enough for your parent. You know, those things like when it didn't happen actually in my case or in my family, but I know a lot of children in general, not just women, are being told to be quiet, like don't talk. Now adults are talking, you know, those comments like I have no time, just go and play with your brother. You know, all those signs, it's nothing terrible being said, you know, it's just mom and dad just probably needed some time for themselves or deal with something important. But, you know, these kind of, especially if it's repetitive, you know, the message that is getting to the child is what? Something along the lines like, I'm not important enough.
Absolutely.
I'm not,
Absolutely.
you know, I'm not important enough. I'm not worthy. And
Worthy. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
so it can be
Absolutely.
anything. It can
It
be,
can be anything. Yes. Wide number of reasons why somebody cannot get pregnant. What I said was just one example. That is where it starts from, because that's the time you're born and there's a rejection. So that is the first issue. And like you said, feeling unworthy. When as we're growing up, we are not being given that importance, we're not given the chance to speak, and the deep inside, the inner child thinks, okay, I'm not worthy, I'm not important, I'm not being heard. So this is when there's a lot of trauma, this child is wounded, deeply wounded within their own self.
mm,
And one other reason is they're trying to, it could be because of the mother wounds or the father wounds. There's different issues that's caused because of the mother and because of the father. When the mother is not available for the girl child especially, there is a lot of there is a lot of blockages, and there is a lot of mistrust that is formed at that age. So it is so important that all these things, all these knowledge was not widely available. Here we are not here blaming the parents at all, because they did the best of their own knowledge. But now with this knowledge, we are now trying to understand. There's a lot of research that has been done, and inner child healing is one of the most important therapies to heal within ourselves, that subconscious self where we having all this baggage of emotional blocks, traumas, fears, and this is what is actually causing us to live the life we are currently living.
thank you. And I love the concept and I love the theory. And you and I, we have been studying and researching this for many, many years. But I really love to give some kind of examples, you know, because that's what actually makes a lot of difference in terms of my viewers. A lot of times my people come to me, it's like, you know, when God gave me that example, it's like, oh my God, I realized that's me.
Yes.
You know, so I like to use some of those. So talking about, and guys, I just want to briefly say also that we are not suggesting that yes, we are talking about mother wounds, we are talking about inner child work, and you know, it's very, very powerful. But of course, I'm not suggesting as a fertility mindset coach that that's the only reason why someone can't get pregnant. You know, like, of course, there are many, many
Absolutely.
you know, every journey, every client I work with, there is such a unique story, unique circumstances on a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level, that there is no one even similar case, I must say, in those years. So of course, you know, there are other things that are impacting us as a, you know, test results, follicles, all the, you know, but you know, I don't want to talk about it because you guys, and I started it that way myself, being on a journey towards motherhood for many, many years. You know, I was just researching like all the scientific, you know, technical things about, you know, IVF and all the things, and what vitamins to take, and you know, not eat chocolate, and I gave up all the naughties, and it was still not happening. So I got to the point when something told me that I need to look deeper. There is something more to this thing, to this journey. And that's when I started looking on a, you know, mind aspect of things. And I just want to quickly say, Bindu, I don't know if you know this, I was sharing it with one of my ladies yesterday as well, and she was very surprised. So I thought I share that with you as well. In terms of, because a lot of ladies who are going to be listening, they are going through IVF or preparing, or they have several IVF attempts that didn't work. So I just want to say, like, you know, in a farms with the cows, for example, they use the very similar in vitro fertilization IVF process as with humans. The interesting fact is, and I was actually talking to some of the farmers about this as well, the actual people who do the job. And it's astonishing because research says, and even these farmers told me, that is no problem. 85% of the cows, and sorry for using this example, but it will make sense in a minute, getting pregnant and having a little, you know, baby cows. And you know, it's astonishing because even the best fertility clinic in UK or US, like well-known fertility clinic, the percentage, and please correct me, but it's anywhere between 18 and maybe maximum, well, I don't think I met 23%.
Wow.
And for me, this is a mind-blowing information. This is where I'm getting to, is that it's our mind. You know, they say now the science is, you know, going further and further every day. And they're saying, like, really, it's 85% everything, how we live, what we attract, the kind of feelings, the kind of emotions, like what we own, not just the babies. 85% our mind and the setup of our mind is responsible for that.
Absolutely.
That's mind-blowing. I think we should just pause here and just think about our lives, the good things and maybe not so good things that are not working that well. And it's astonishing to know that we are the creators of all of it.
Absolutely. Can't agree more on that. We are the creators of our own reality. What we think, what we feel, what we act upon is giving an experience. So this is what it is.
And it's phenomenal to have that kind of power and be responsible for that kind of power without, you know, getting paranoid, like, oh my God, I shouldn't be thinking about this, because you'll, you know, of course it doesn't work like that. If you think about blue elephant, it doesn't mean that it's going to be showing up in your lounge or something. So let's relax about it. This is really the streaming where we talk about inner child, about the therapy, about the wounds, and really is about building awareness about the kind of access to something else being possible, you know. And especially if you honor your journey towards motherhood, we are now going to be talking about a little bit about the mother wound and how is it actually impacting, or it might be impacting, this might, some of it might even resonate with your journey, possibly your journey towards motherhood. So can we, Bindu, just say a little bit more about mother wounds? And
yeah, so basically, as we are growing up, you know, the mother wounds are basically caused because the mother has been very critical at the time we are growing up, and the mother has been very unapproving. So, and probably unavailable. That's one great example, because, you know, could be for a reason, but here we're not to judge that. But, you know, because of the unavailable, because every child, inner child, has some needs, unmet needs, and this is why these wounds are caused. So when the mother was critical, what happens is there is a loud inner critique. We are not able to speak confidently in front of the public. And the mother has been unapproving for anything that we do. We have a fear of judgment. Whenever we speak, we think, oh, am I going to be judged? Am I good enough? So that is what happens. And when the mother has been unavailable at the time of our growing years, it's the inability to understand or express emotions, because when the mother was not available, how do you express your emotions, right? We do. So all these emotions has been blocked. We have suppressed all these emotions. And then, when the mother has been very controlling, for example, I'm not saying this happens with each and every one. There could be some people who has these issues. And what happens is, it reveals us through rebellious choices. We become rebels. So this is what generally happens with the motherhood wounds, or the wounds that is caused because of the mother.
Yeah.
And also one important thing is pessimistic. If the mother has been very pessimistic, we self-sabotage. Because we feel unworthy, we don't want to do anything good for our own self.
It's very interesting you're saying, because worthiness or unworthiness is a lot to do with many of my clients, and it doesn't come out on a surface. On a surface, women that I work with are highly successful, many of them, in their career, in their life. On the outside, it looks, they're so beautiful. You see the Facebook page and you're thinking, this woman has it all. Same as me. Like on a surface they look like, but underneath there is this, and it goes deep, 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 especially in terms of like big things. Because you see, like if you can't get pregnant for many years, it becomes as distant as a universe. It's not like, for someone having a baby is like that, but for many of us who've been on this journey for so long, and the longer you are on this journey, the more distant this dream, the more impossible this dream seemed to be. And then you start questioning, like, and then you start, for example, if you do have one of these types of mother wounds, right, feeling unworthy, not feeling good enough, then you start trying hard. This was my case, right? That was my mother wound. I was like, I felt I'm not good enough. Like, surely there must be something wrong with me if I'm not getting pregnant. Surely there must be something that I need to improve, that I need to, and I was like, before I knew it, I was trying to strive for this perfection in order to deserve the baby.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
It's
it
a
is a
feeling of
huge
guilt.
pitfall. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So as a result of these mother wounds, what happens is we set weak boundaries. So, we have the inability to say no to people, and, we don't honor our own space. And by this, what happens is we become people pleaser. We try to please each and every person because we set weak boundaries. And also the feeling of guilt. And, when we feel that we're not good enough, we feel that guiltiness in us. And, if something good happens in our life, you feel a sense of, it doesn't happen, you feel a sense of guilt, and because you feel you don't deserve it. This is where it's all interdependent, right? One leads to another.
Absolutely. And it's a huge pitfall because, and I'm speaking from my own experience, not just, my client's experience, which is wonderful because I can really feel that. I remember once I had a beautiful, beautiful healing experience with it was actually physical. My friend is doing this belly massage, it was very deep, deep, physical, hands-on, like therapy, where inside of this massage, because in our stomach we hold a lot of pain, a lot of trapped emotions, right? We store a lot of stuff there, times when we've been hurt, when we didn't stand up for ourselves, where we didn't say, oi, you stepped on my toe, it hurted. And like when all that undelivered communication accumulated. And so during this massage, it was very emotional, and it was amazing because in one point towards the end of the massage, it was a little bit painful because it was releasing, right? But it felt good, it felt right. So I went with it and I just kept on breathing. And I remember in one point of this massage towards the end, and I had my eyes closed, I started crying. It was like really could feel something is releasing, and I went with it. I didn't get scared. I went with it. It was like a wave. And I remember suddenly I had this visual of this beautiful woman in a white. I still see it. This beautiful woman in a white passing me the child.
Wow.
And I was so
Oh,
moved. I remember, now I'm being moved. And I remember just going to me, that's you giving it to me. I didn't say anything, but it energetically, in those, it was like to me, I was so surprised. She's giving the baby
wow.
to me. And she just gave me this beautiful smile, and she reassured me with that beautiful, beautiful smile, like, of course,
Wow.
of
That's
course.
beautiful. Yeah.
And that's when I think transformed the kind of, sense of worthiness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because up till
Absolutely.
that point, I felt like, because of my wound from, my inner wound, mother wound,
Yeah.
I felt like I need to be absolute perfection, or I need to suffer so much in order to have a baby. I need to go through all this hardship in order to allow myself to and then I think it was maybe 5 or 6 months later, I was expecting twin girls.
Mhm.
So, and it was just one of the things that I've
Yeah.
done on my journey towards motherhood. But I'm just saying, this kind of work is so powerful, and a lot of times we think that there is nothing in a way.
Yeah.
But the kind of work that Bindu and I are doing, and it's not for everyone. It takes a lot of courage to look, like to really look. Would you agree, Bindu? It takes
Yeah.
a lot of
Absolutely.
courage to really look underneath that surface.
Absolutely. What
Because
I
on the
just like,
top of it,
yeah.
sorry, Bindu, like, I just want to quickly say, on the top of it, it's not obvious. People have no idea to what you're going through. And when we look, we go underneath those and we dare to peel off those layers. But that's where the gold dust is. That's where you can fundamentally transform and shift. That's something that very thing that you have no idea that is standing in your way, but it was always there, and you free yourself from. You have really have this opportunity to do so. Is very powerful, and there is something, there is a miracle on the other side, literally.
Absolutely. What I wanted to say is, we've been sweeping everything under the carpet, thinking it's going to be okay. I'm going to forget that. But a subconscious mind does not forget all these. It does take a lot of courage, like you said, Lucia, because when we open this up, these wounds, it's going to open a box of pandoras troubles. There's so many that we need to deal with it. It's only when we deal with them and we heal them within ourselves, that's when the true transformation begins.
Mm, thank you so much. So let's talk now a little bit. I think we get a gist about, healing the inner child, the importance of it. We get the gist of what is possible on the other side. So let's talk a little bit more about how to go about it. Like, can someone do it themselves, or, how does it actually work?
Yeah. So this inner child therapy is basically, so the inner child is a part of our subconscious. So when we work with this part of us, we're working with the subconscious mind to change the current patterns or the beliefs that we have. Our beliefs are formed by the age of 7. Dr. Bruce Lipton says our belief system is formed by the age of 7 years old, because our subconscious mind is wide open and we are absolutely like a sponge absorbing everything from the environment. It could be from the parents, it could be from the caretakers, it could be from the teachers or the environment. So the belief system is completely formed. So they say, change your belief system, change your life. So everything that's happening to us is purely because of the belief system which we believe in. So here with this inner child work, we have an opportunity to go within and explore the unhelpful messages that we received as a child, such as, you're not worthy, you're stupid, you're not good enough. We can change everything. The inner child work is all about, we being the grown up self, reparenting our inner child. We become the parents for our inner child. At that point in time, when we're receiving all these messages, we were very weak. We couldn't speak up. We were not strong enough. or somebody who has faced, abuse where they were not strong enough and their mouth has been shut. But now, because we as a grown-up adult now become the father or the mother of our own inner child, and we reparent our inner child by giving them the love and the wanting, embracing that inner child and seeing what is that was missing. We are going to hear our inner child. So this is a beautiful work, connecting with our inner child. And this is something that, the process, the way it works, there are many tips and tools and techniques that we use. And we are going to go within to our subconscious mind and recall, because the subconscious mind is like a ocean, right? It has the information of, each and everything. It has information about our past lives from, it is an ocean. So we are going to regress ourselves into a subconscious mind and bring back those memories that has actually caused us to become who we are, those events in our life that's happened in the past, and we're going to heal it. This is how it works.
And there are many tools, many ways how to do it. And guys, for those of you who are listening, please, let's not now think like, oh my God, I had a terrible childhood. There will be like lifetime job. Like, please don't think like it's something. I don't want to say it out loud, but it's like, oh, I'm doomed, I'm screwed up. This is really, we are talking about it as your access to something being available, something else, something different, something that else being possible. And I guess like because of Bindu is a lot to raise the awareness as well, isn't it? Because
Absolutely,
the inner voice, we all have the inner voice, right? But it's just by raising the consciousness, is one of the things that happens is that we start distinguishing between types of inner voice. The one that is serving us, the one that is coming and is truly the one that is reconnecting with our soul, that inner child in us, that innocent, that with the one with superpowers, right? Like Bindu
yes,
said.
absolutely, yeah.
And the other voice that is not serving us so well, the ego, the brain that is fueled by our amygdala, the part of the brain that is primitive part of the brain that's only I talk about this quite often because it's important to acknowledge that there is a part of the brain that is only responsible for our survival, and any kind of seeming threat or fear or doubt is coming from that part of the brain, and it's unnecessary. Because for example, tomorrow I'm doing like little community online event. I called it Feel Good Sunday, where women just join on the journey towards motherhood and they share. And it's extraordinary, especially when you're on this journey, to hear other women's stories. And I know, one of the ladies, she said that, I know IVF is the only way to, get to my baby because of many reasons. I don't need to say the details, but I'm so scared it's not going to work that I'm not even giving it a chance. And I know this year or next year, after that, I'm in a menopause, is my last shot. But I'm so petrified of that not working out that I'm not even going ahead with it. And this is what I'm talking about, guys, that the fears, the doubts, the concerns, that it's got nothing to do with the reality, nothing to do with, whatever the results will be or might be. And this is very painful for me. And this is many, I've got millions of examples, but I'm using just this one. And I'm not saying IVF is the way to go or not to go. I'm not talking about that. But I'm just talking about, from the standpoint of view, like, if this is something really important to you, and this is your way, how you can get to what your soul is desiring, then I love, and I think Bindu would say the same. We love you guys to have the kind of freedom, because that's what it is really about, is us being freed from the constraints from the past. So that is not limiting you, running your life, holding you back in any way. And that's the thing, that many times we are not even being present to that's what's going on, because what it seems like is a reality to us when we are in it, because it's unconscious. It feels like it's a reality, but it's not. It's just perception based on the past, and many times, whatever we've been, what we gained from the childhood. So this is so healthy. It's so nourishing to talk about things, and I always love doing these Facebook lives, because there is a little hope inside me that, and many times it happens because you speak to me, and I'm so pleased when please send us a message, send us a comment, and if you don't feel like talking about this in public, I really get it. So send me a personal message or ask questions to Bindu. Like, we are happy to be here for you, to support you, to guide you on a way. If any of this resonates, please don't be alone with all this, because you don't have to be. And I hope that with us sharing this, it's triggering a little bit of something like, I wonder what my story is, like how my past how me freeing the bits from my past can actually cause the quantum leap in my life. And it doesn't have to be fertility you're dealing with. It can be that you're stuck with your finances, or, your relationship with your husband is driving you crazy, or it can be anything.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't, resonate with this more. Inner child work is just not for somebody who is trying to it changes every aspect of our life. It's purely because we are driven by a belief system. So in this inner child work, we come off all those limiting beliefs that is holding us. We deepen a connection with the self, which is a prime source of joy. We learn healthy habits or healthy ways to deal with our emotions like anger, fear, and sadness. And this also opens doors to connection with our parents, which is very humbling and fulfilling. And it also heals our inner critique, grow our self-esteem, free ourselves from the fears, deep-rooted fears from the childhood. So, it has n number of benefits that can just not only change the way we are living, but it can bring a quantum leap, like you said, Lucia. It's just going to bring a quantum leap because it's going to clear an emotional baggage in your subconscious mind. And like you spoke about the conscious, we as we heal our own inner child issues, we become a conscious partner with our husbands. Or the only reason is because we see our partner's inner child, because we tend to always complain, but when we heal our own self,
Yes.
we could see the wounded part of the partner. And what happens with this, you're going to have compassion towards them, right? Seeing your partner's inner child, and we are going to replace criticism with praise, seeing conflicts as a great gateway to connection, and learning to hold space with empathy. So this is so beautiful, isn't it? It's just gonna
It is
360
very
degree.
beautiful. It's got such a ripple effect, because it's
Yeah.
not just about the person. I love that when I work with a client and she's starting like transforming, and it's got an impact on her children that are acting differently, like on her husband who suddenly brings her flowers or propose her, after years, everything, like environment, the vibration, even the colleagues at work who used to like cause her belly pain, they either been fired, or some dynamics change, that she's free about being with them again. I mean, it's astonishing. And Bintu, do you know what, I'm laughing because you said something really interesting. You said you like about your partner, and what, like, one of the things that happen when you get present to your inner child and literally fall in love with yourself, because you are falling in love that beautiful goddess in you. And what
Self-love,
also,
yeah.
yeah, what also happens is that you start seeing the other people's inner children. And that's
Yeah.
interesting. That's something, actually, I must admit, that I never actually, well, I saw it that way. I called it differently. Maybe I used the different words, but I just realized, and my husband just messaged me, it's so amazing how energy travels, because he's not even in this country. I am totally in love with my husband, and I am in love with that inner child in him.
Yeah.
And what is very beautiful is that now my girls are growing up, they're sleeping, I'm showing there because they're outside at the moment. Like, I so many times in a day, one of them or other, you know, reminds me of my inner child, of my husband, in her action. So there is this beautiful dynamics, like family dynamics. And another thing, what I want to say is beautifully healing, doing this work on ourselves, even though it's courageous, but it's beautifully healing for our parents. It's
Absolutely.
incredible. Like, you know how our parents gave us our life? Well, in some ways we can give them the gift of their lives back. And I would talk about it forever, but really it's about healing not just our parents' generation, but they say it's 7 generations
The
before.
family constellation, we
Yes,
call it.
exactly. And
Yeah.
seven generations that
Yeah.
coming after us. So
Absolutely, absolutely, Lucy. I mean, this is so, it's a ripple effect, isn't it? We
mm,
heal ourselves and we heal everyone around us. And I can go on talking about, my personal experience when I did the inner child healing. I not only healed my own inner child wounds, but I became a conscious parent. Anybody who is doing the inner child work, they not only heal their own inner child wounds, but also they become conscious parents, because nowadays, they want to adopt, whoever becomes a conscious parents, they want to adapt spiritual parenting. So spiritual parenting is all about, parenting is done generally now in this day and age. Most of the parenting is done based on fear, but with conscious parenting, you do it with love. And parents, make a mistake in parenting due to ignorance, because they're not aware of the
mm,
unfulfilled needs of the child. What they want is time. That time is a precious thing that the parents can give to their children. And children will only listen to parents when the parents would learn to listen to the children, right? Most of the time the parents are so busy, they're not available for the children to be heard. So, but then, children can only listen to them if the child parents can give children the time to sit and listen to them.
mm,
And the parenting doesn't belong to the mothers alone. It's both mother and the father. Generally, it's an ideology that
yes,
parenting is just mothers alone. No, it doesn't work like that. It's a partnership. Both mother
mm,
and the father needs to look after the child and give them. Otherwise, as we spoke about, there's many wounds that can be caused, mother wounds and the father wounds. So it is so beautiful, healing the inner child within us has n number of benefits, not only for us, but also our children and also our parents.
very beautiful. And it's the kind of work that you do that I absolutely love, because Bindu is working with teens and also, but also with the parents. And it is just such amazing that you do, how you transform not just like individuals, but like really the whole families. I mean,
Family,
it's
yeah,
just astonishing. I love the work that you do. And you see, like, even like getting present to, now talking about consciousness and conscious parenting, I'm a big ambassador of it, and that's how I live and breathe and bringing up my
I,
children. And thank God for the work that I do, that I can be this kind of mom.
yeah,
And it's not about being perfect mom, but I really see the value of all those 20 years that I've been involved in this kind of work, that I see the results of my children already. They're not even 3 years old, and everybody's like,
yeah,
oh my God, your children are amazing. I get that all the time. And yes, I'm lucky, but I don't think it's just being lucky. It's all the time, all the work that I've done on myself as a mother, and you know, like how I provided the clearing for them to be able to, you know,
Give
be
that
and don't
environment.
take me wrong, I watch them every day in awe. You know, like I admire them so much. Like I have to pinch myself, it's my children, and yes, they are my children. But what I also want to say is the very important message that I want to say to my women, because I know a lot of you are still on the journey towards motherhood. Very important, and probably one of the most important messages that I'm trying to build awareness about, in terms of, if you're the one, or if you don't know someone, but if you're the one who is taking time to have a baby, the most important message I want to give you guys is something I discovered myself, and I'm writing about it also in my book coming out on 6th of June. It is to see this journey and use this journey as the most extraordinary gift to grow up and expand as a human being. And I know it takes something, because it's so painful, and it can be so hard and so lonely, and people don't really understand what you're going through. But my main message is, please do not just suffer in silence and have this whole journey being just a stupid pain with uncertain end. I want you to use this journey as it has been given to you as a gift. And the most amazing gift that is that you have opportunity to grow and expand your consciousness. And the good news and the work that I'm doing with my women is that with them raising their consciousness, as a natural outcome of it, and the harmony in all areas of their lives, they are becoming conscious mothers. You know, the babies are natural outcome of this process, is a cherry on the top. Inside of that, they get the life they love truly. And the great news for all of us is that the more conscious women becoming a conscious mothers, and I've got goosebumps here, the more conscious women being a conscious mothers, well, guess what? We are bringing the conscious little people to this world. And I think you and I, if you're still watching us, you would probably agree that this world is really in the need of more conscious people and babies in general.
Absolutely.
So it's absolutely precious. And please share this video if this resonates with you, because you never know who this video is going to land with. Yes, and for me, like, the more we raise consciousness, the more the peace in the world is possible, and end of suffering. And that's my goal within my lifetime. And I'm going to live for a long time, you know. But you know, and we can only do it together. So Bindu, thank you so much for joining us, because you know, you're doing your things and I'm doing my things, and together we are even more powerful, and only together we can make it all possible. So please let me know how people can find you, how you can support them. Tell us a little bit more about how you can be here to contribute to those who are watching and this resonates.
Yeah, thank you, Lucia. So people can, anybody interested can reach out to me either in Messenger or you know, you could probably drop your number in the chat, and you know, I can reach out to you. Either way is absolutely fine. So you know, we are here to help each other. So you know, you don't need to suffer in silence. You know, there is definitely a way around this. You know, the spiritual way, the most authentic way. Inner child work is not something that can be healed through medication. This is a pure inner work. We need to go within to heal those parts of the subconscious where, you know, we have swept under the carpet. This is truly important to have a 360 transformation in your life.
Yeah, it is the process, and is a courageous process. But let's also mention that is the most beautiful process. Very, very beautiful. Like, I wouldn't change one thing. about my life, hands up. And it wasn't easy. I had such a, and Bindu, you as well. So, we went through loads of those, right? But, from my side, it was all meant to be. And I'm just so grateful, because every single obstacle, every single miscarriage, every single whatever I went through, it wasn't easy, but I really see how it contributed to my life. And the reason why it did is what I'm trying to offer, what we are trying to offer too, that no matter where you are at in your life, no matter what is happening, you can always turn it around. If you only, maybe first step is, pick up the phone, or, send a message to Bindu or I, that can be actually one of the most important steps you ever take in life, because that leads you to another step, that leads to another step, that, um, that leads to transformation of your life. Maybe I just want to flirt with you and offer you this little thought. So thank you guys for watching. And Bindu, I know you have a little gift for our people, right?
Yes,
Put that away. We have a
absolutely.
gift for you.
Yeah, so anybody interested can reach out to me, and I have a session on inner child and healing, how to connect with your inner child. This is absolutely a gift for somebody who's listening here and watching this program. So I really want you to connect with me, and I would like to offer this to you at the probably in the week's time. So yes, please reach out to me.
Yeah, so is it okay if people send you just personal message saying I'm
Absolutely fine.
interested or something like that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Another thing which I do as a bigger vision and a bigger purpose is healing of our mother planet Earth. So, like Lucia said, we need more conscious parenting because we're bringing up more children, according to Dr. Bruce Lipton, who brings in spirituality and science together. Our planet Earth is going into extinction purely because of human behavior, because we are living in fear. So this is the main reason why we're seeing so many catastrophes in this world, so many wars happening. So, but here we are the creators, we are born to be the creators, but we are actually not creating, but we are living in survival. So the mission here is through meditation, we all can calm our minds. We can stop sending that energy of fear into the universe. So I also do meditation sessions at 9 p.m. UK time on Thursdays, and it's open to all the women, just women. So anybody who's interested, again, can join me every Thursday 9 p.m. for this meditation, group meditation sessions. It is just beautiful. I do this purely on this mission to, raise awareness and consciousness of each and every human being so that we are contributing to the healing of our mother planet.
Beautiful. Thank you so much about it, about everything what you said about. Thank you for this gift you are giving to me. Thank you for who you are and what you are doing in the world, Bindu. I really appreciate
Thank you,
that.
Lucia.
I
Thank
love
you
you
for having
being
me.
here with us. And I've got a good news. I really do feel the more and more of us are coming up talking about these things, and and sharing and teaching and building awareness and connecting with one another. And I do believe that the frequency of the Mother Earth, that we are raising vibration.
Yes,
And the
absolutely.
truth is, we can't do it alone. We can only do it together, and with
Together.
supporting other people to opening doors. So thank you so much for being on my partner in all of this. Thank you so much for
Absolutely,
all of
my
you
pleasure.
watching, and let's have a great rest of the weekend. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Lucia. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Bye.